Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to how to build a nice enclosure in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Previously, we did build a nice enclosure for an aviary in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and obviously I am going to continue doing this series, since it was actually my first ever video to hit 100,000 views way back when I was making Evolution 1 videos 2 years ago. So obviously the logical thing to do is continue doing that in some way. And with Evolution 2 finally released, I am now going to teach you guys how to build a nice enclosure in Evolution 2 as well. So as you guys can see here, we actually have our, entry to the park, let's say. And unfortunately we do need to have the staff centers and the control center. However, a nifty little trick I will show you guys right here is that if you actually delete this control center, you go over here, synthesize some random dinosaur, you still keep all of your scientists. And I believe the same goes if you were to delete the staff centers as well. So if you want some space and you're done with your scientists for the rest of your sandbox build, then you're welcome to do that. But we are actually deleting this because it's kind of in the way. So firstly, what we're going to do is have our Hammond Creation Lab. Now you don't have to have a Hammond Creation Lab, obviously. You can now airlift dinosaurs from this lab into your enclosure. But for the sake of this video, we are going to keep one. We'll probably do another video later down the line. So we'll start off with creating a straight fence. Now you can, go straight on, but I'm not going to. Or you can go straight here and then you can turn and you can then create another enclosure like that. Now I was actually from here going to go like that instead. But I don't think I want to do that, although I guess it's a quite nice measurement way. So you can kind of do the curve first and then add that fence. So when you do delete this, you then have a somewhat, I want to say obtuse angle if I remember my maths correctly. But it's kind of like in the middle of the curve, which is good. And the reason why I chose this area is primarily because we have some sort of terrain to deal with here. And I guess it kind of curves around with the world. So we want to curve around with the edge of the map, the boundary areas. But don't try and get too close. Don't try and fill them exact. Unless you're playing like challenge mode or you're playing a campaign mode. This is mainly for sandbox. So you'll want to keep going around like this. And then eventually you'll want to start turning around as well. Now the main thing about this is use your imagination. Don't get too boring with enclosures. So what I mean by that is that I can basically just complete the enclosure just by going like this and then like that and like that. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to be a little bit unique, although that enclosure was looking quite nice in my opinion. We're going to continue down here and we're going to curve just that little bit and create another section here. We can turn round, create forward, another area, turn a bit more, turn a bit more, turn a bit more, and then level up and finish there. Okay, and as you guys can see, we have a nice unique enclosure. Something of a large enclosure, I want to say. So I guess you can put probably carnivores in here, but the reason why we made it a little bit bigger is primarily because we want to incorporate about 3 species, and one of them being the Werosaurus, the Stegosaurid. So what we are going to do in the meantime is create these Stegosaurids and all of the dinosaurs I want in here, and then I'll tell you what dinosaurs we got, and then we'll do a nice enclosure for them. Okay, so what we've got on the go is a Werosaurus, a Margosaurus, and Dracorex. I believe they can all live together, and I think it's quite nice. One of them's large, one of them's medium, one of them's small. So, the main thing of what you want to do is use your imagination firstly, and what I imagine is that we want a viewing gallery here, and we'll probably add a viewing gallery, if I can find it, there we go, somewhere around here. Now I'm not too sure if I want it there or I want it there. The only issue is that this is kind of not in line to what happens here. So why I probably put this here is mainly because of that. So we can obviously bring the path around when that does happen. Now viewing purposes, what can it see? It can't really see too much over here, so we can put one here. We don't have to, that's just my opinion. But feel free to do whatever you want. Now we are going to connect this path somewhat easier. Keep the path, I guess, close in a way to the fence, because then that way, in your imagination, again, because unfortunately it's not a feature. I wonder if Frontier will ever make it a feature. But hopefully one day the guests will have a viewing radius so they can get close to the path, close to the fences, and view the dinosaurs that come across the fences like this. Okay, so we've got a large herbivore, medium herbivore, and we also have a small herbivore to go. We have a sauropod, so a lot of trees would be quite nice. And what is also quite nice about Evolution 2 is that we are treated with loads of trees, which is incredible, better than Evolution 1. Now obviously they need somewhere to eat, which would be ground fibre and ground leaf, and I believe we also have tall nut and small nut, ground nut, that's the word. So you'll firstly want to focus on this. Now I'm not too sure which of these things that these species eat, so we'll probably be putting in both, but mainly just put them really close right here, around the fence area. Try to leave like a little gap there, you'll see why. And get it close to where the viewing gallery can see it. Likewise with this, we'll go over here and like a feeding area, but be abstract with it. Don't be direct, okay? Don't be one area just like this. Don't do that. You'll want to have it like that, and maybe have a little bit more coming this way. And the reason for that is because when you go down here, you'll get something called tall nut and ground nut, which also creates some form of trees like that. So these trees actually add quite a lot to the aesthetic point of view of your park, and you can probably put it around here. And because they are where the herbivores will eat, they'll probably congregate with more species here, and it blends in really, really nicely with the previous foliage you have just put down. Not only that, but it's not too heavy on the eye. Like if you were to go here and you were to up the radius, that's quite heavy on the eye if you were to ask me. So if we get rid of that, we can obviously get rid of some of it, and it's not too heavy on the eye, just like that, which actually, I think that's turned out quite nicely. I'm going to leave it as it is. But again, if you want to use tall nut and ground nut, which both of the species will probably be able to eat, including sauropods, and you don't want your park to be just, full of trees, you're welcome to do just that. And likewise, the whole reason why I said to leave a gap is because then you can add the trees in the middle as well, and that way, again, it looks like it's blending in and doesn't get rid of too much. Again, we have plenty of trees to pick from, so take your pick. We're going to do a little forest area away from the guests, because this can be like the secluded area for our dinosaurs. So they have a private area over here. And then to fill it up, we can get rid of all of the grass just by adding like shrubs, just like what we have here, ornamental shrubs. So just go around the outside of where you've put down the food. This kind of just adds the colour in the park a little bit more, and switch up a bit so it has different colour as well. And you can mix and match them a little bit as well, so they do blend in. Now obviously we do have other trees like this, but I don't think it really fits the theme for this enclosure, so we're just going to leave them, although the small trees are quite nice. I really do like them. However, what you can probably tell by now is that we haven't got water going, which is unfortunate, because our dinosaurs do need to drink. So what you do want to do is put down the foliage first, and then decide where you want the water. So we have two viewing galleries here, and we have one big gallery over here. What I like to do is add connecting water sources. So what we're going to do is add some form of big water area. I don't want to get in the way of that where I've just put the food. So we'll add like a water area here and bring it across, and then minimize the radius and get it going across the park, and I'll show you what to do later. But again, you can see there's loads of foliage in the water. Now that's fine, however, do keep in mind that they're probably not going to eat the foliage in the water. So what you want to do is go around the middle of the water and get rid of all of the foliage that's in the middle of the water like that. That way we have foliage around the outside, because in real life, foliage does grow on water edge. So you can keep it like that and then have the foliage around the outside. I'll do the same for the trees here so the river keeps running through. Now again, we'll want to create the water, so we'll have it cut off like that, go across here, and we'll also have it cut off and go across here as well. Now for me personally, I feel like this water is still a bit too large, so you want to go to delete water and go around the river edge and make it ever so smaller, just like that. I'm going to keep it a little bit large around the outside on this side, because what I like to do, because I'm weird, is create kind of like a heavy foliage area so we can hide where the water finishes, and it turns into like a swampy area, I guess, in a way. So you can hide where the water finishes that way. So we'll do a little bit of some touching up here, and we'll get rid of some foliage that's in the water, so the water does stand out a little bit. Here I don't mind it too much because we do have a thin layer of water, so the foliage can go in. But there you go, we have a nice river running through our enclosure, let's say, not our park, but our enclosure. It is looking a little bit bare over here, so I am going to go grab some trees and add a bit of trees around this area. So when you zoom out, take a look at your park, see where it's more bare, which was mainly here. There were no trees and nothing was really standing out. Now that you have done your water, I know this has taken a long time, but now that you've done your water, thankfully in Evolution 2, which is what I'm very chuffed about, if you were to go to raised terrain and you were to go around the water's edge, it will not mess around with the water itself like it did in Evolution 1, which in my opinion is absolutely brilliant. I really love the idea of that, and it has helped me out a lot because, you know, the water doesn't go away now. But yes, my statement from Evolution 1 remains true. Terrain adds a lot of feature to your enclosures, so don't forget to do the terrain. What we have done is created a flat map, and what we're now going to do is add terrain to it, because then I can control where the terrain goes. Obviously, if you're not doing that, then you're more than welcome to go and fix around the terrain that was already there. So as I mentioned right at the start, we left the terrain area here. Turn on the contour lines before you do this. You can find that in settings. But I want to click here because then we can create a somewhat higher area right here and kind of bring it around the edge of the enclosure to make it stand out a little bit more. Now what we can do is get close to... Wow, I do apologise about that. My throat went really dry and I started coughing like mad, so apologise. Right, so where were we? Okay, right. So yeah, we're creating kind of like different terrain levels here. Now, I wanted to actually continue this, but I feel like if we go here, it kind of stands out a little bit nicer in my opinion. So we'll continue this round. We'll leave a little gap there in the middle, and we'll continue this round the outside of the water area. And we'll make this section of the park, or the enclosure, shall I say, like a secluded area. So down here, we could probably add like a little bit of water as well. We add water there, and just make it small. We can add like a little secluded area for our dinosaurs' privacy. So again, we'll just continue around here. I do like the height here, but I do want to make it a little bit taller, which what you can do is add terrain like that. And then we can flatten terrain and bring it across. And you don't even have to make it too big. I'm trying to make like mountains in this area. So yeah, the terrain is sticking out, it's standing out, and it looks nice. And since we did actually cover most of this with foliage, what we can now do is delete some of that foliage right there. And we can, instead of adding foliage, we can add rock, which if we were to tell by the outside, I think it's this rock. Yeah, it's that rock. So since we're going around the outside, we'll match the outside and add the rock. Now, what you can do in Evolution 2, if we were to go really strong here, you can use different textures of rock on top of each other to make another new texture of rock. How cool is that? So that's what I'm going to do here. And add a bit of rock like that. So there you go, it does start to stand out a little bit. Although I am going to try and make this into more of a little pinch down to the side like that. So it does, you know, doesn't just stop and looks unnatural. You can add a little bit of sand here and there because you have loads of foliage down now. The sand won't stand out all that much, but it'll add a little bit more texture to your park. And there we go, we've added the terrain a little bit, and I think it looks quite nice. I think it's turned out quite nice, and it does look in fact quite nice. Although I don't like when it does stick out the fences, so we're gonna tidy this up just a little bit, just like that, so the fences are on the same level. And there we go, voila! We have a nice terrain area for our enclosure. I keep saying park. I do apologise that I say park way too often. We're gonna touch up on some rock right here, just like so. Just so it adds more texture. And talking of rocks, we have an abundance of rocks in Jurassic World Evolution 2, which is brilliant. And my personal favourite is this one, and you'll see why. When you do get the right angle, you can in fact have the rock to kind of lean over to some things, which is what I like doing. So if we were to go like this, we can then kind of turn it round and do something like that. Likewise, we can probably do it like that, and I think I might be able to do something similar. Yeah, there we go. And now we have some sort of arch, which is really, really cool in my opinion. I like these rock systems. They're much better than Evolution 1's. We do have smaller rocks, and if you want to tidy it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more natural, you can put the smaller rocks around the outside of the bigger rocks, let's say. And just like before, if you want to, you can add rock around the outside, so the rocks kind of stand out a little bit in their area. There are other types of rocks, like these really large rocks, which again, I personally really do enjoy. Now for these ones, you'll probably just want to dot them around wherever. You don't really have to have a certain area where to put them, just kind of place them anywhere. And if you do happen to have any aviaries that do break and some flying reptiles come out, then you're more than welcome to watch them land on these rocks, which I think is quite cool. Because this is a rocky area, I'm going to fill up with some smaller rocks, just so it kind of blends in with the aesthetic. I'm going to kind of make this as a little rock pool. I think that looks quite cool. But there you go. This is a herbivore exhibit. We'll probably do a carnivore exhibit later down the line, but this is specifically for herbivores. I should have probably said that at the start of the video. I do apologise about that. But as you guys can see, we have foliage areas here where the, well, dinosaurs can eat. They can go up here as well. The terrain kind of makes it stand out a little bit. They can go around here if they want more forest, and over here is like a secluded area away from the guests, so they have some sort of privacy. They also have water and I believe some food around here as well. There's loads of food over here, so they can and are welcome to congregate over in this area. And then again, there's a little bit more of secludacy right here, but when the campers? No, too much Camp Cretaceous videos. When the guests do walk around, they'll be able to see the dinosaurs over here. And again, when we do look over here, we can quite clearly see that the terrain is up and down, so the dinosaurs will be having fun and getting their workout going up and down as well. So without any further ado, it is time to release the Werosaurus, the Amargasaurus, and the Dracorex. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Amargasaurus, the Werosaurus and Dracorex all in this enclosure, which the, well, visitors hopefully will enjoy. Now if you want to, what I do sometimes do, I don't always do it, but I do sometimes do it, is kind of go around the outline of the enclosures and fill it with trees. So we'll do something like this. That way it kind of naturally blends into the outside, let's say. So we'll continue doing this and yeah, it just blends in. So what I'm doing now is speeding up time and waiting to see where these dinosaurs go and where their favourite areas are. Okay, so I've kind of just let them be and do their own thing. Oh, we've got a social interaction over here. Ah, isn't that cute? So yeah, I've let them do their own thing, and it seems like the Dracorex like the privacy, the Amargasaurus like to be in the middle, and the Werosaurus are basically taking up most of the enclosure. They do come down here, but not too much, which is unfortunate. I like to see the dinosaurs over here. And again, over here, we can see the Amargasauruses are just roaming about in the middle. One thing I've just thought of now, actually, is that if I can probably put enough rocks down here to have like a rock pool going across the river. And that explains why it's kind of like blocked off, and then it exceeds into more river right here. So I think that, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, but I think that looks quite cool. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap up the video. We've got the Dracorexes kind of like chilling, doing their own thing in the secluded area. And then we also have the Amargasauruses chilling in the middle with some random sprout right here. Yeah, and then the Werosauruses, they kind of just walk all over the gaff and chill wherever they want. It seems like they do like this area a bit more, I assume because of what they eat. They might be over here. What is this? Can I see? I swear I can. Well, I thought I could. I thought it was popping up earlier. What's down here? What's been placed down? Apparently I can't. But yeah, anyways, we have the dinosaurs here clipping through each other. Lovely. One day that will go away. But they do tend to have their own little areas, which I do quite like. You know, in this area, instead of making 3 exhibits, we can have the Amargasaurus, this area, the Dracorex, and in this area, we can have the Werosaurus as well. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, do consider leaving a like and also subscribing if you are new to the channel. We'll be posting loads of new Evolution 2 videos, Camp Cretaceous videos, and the new movie Jurassic World Dominion videos once we get more information and I get more ideas, so feel free to let me know ideas in the comment section down below. Don't forget to also let me know what you think of this enclosure down in the comment section down below, but in the meantime, make sure you're staying safe out there, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.